Es la voz de LA. It's like una galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and well, Coons we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell the haters shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goals during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans and for all you soccer fanatics out there as well. You have a home here too. Thanks for stopping by. Today, we're going to tell you all about seemingly the highest point of the LA Galaxy season so far, a hard-fought 2-1 home win over favored Pachuca in the quarterfinal round of the League's Cup on Wednesday, August 20th. A victory that puts the Galaxy just 2 wins away from a trophy and 1 win away from a Champions Cup spot. We'll break down a superb effort from the Galaxy that includes ramping up their physicality to being pretty tidy in defense, looking at who led the way for LA and how, and get you up to date as to what happens next in this tournament. We'll also look ahead to the Galaxy's MLS match against the Colorado Rapids on Saturday as they look to replicate their good Leagues Cup form in the league. Plus, the Galaxy made a few transfer moves today, and we look at who we have to say goodbye to. All of that and more coming up tonight on La Cuna Galaxiana. And thank you guys for stopping by once again. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Halon. You can find my written work at the Sporting Tribune and Extra Time Talk. And, of course, you can always find me online at El Escudero de LA. And, of course, since I'm here, you know that the other guys here, man, the Cosmopolitan one, the Jet Setter one, the one who's living that Cosmopolitan life, El Yerno Guapo, El Papá de Nata, Ananda Kirana. Papa, good morning to you.
I was gonna say the Cosmopolitan life and paying for it because I need a couple of extra shots of Café Solito esta mañana.
Hey, get it. It's much better there. It tastes delicious when you're there.
Oh,
how did you describe it in the other land?
Then the other land. Don't get me started on the quality of food and all that good stuff on the other side of the pond. But man, obviously living the dream with you guys. Living the dream with everyone in chat as well. And looks like the Galaxy are living the dream in Leagues Cup, Papa. Looks like they have another life in this tournament. They look like a different team. La suerte de campeón? I don't know. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But you know how we do on the show, Papa. We got to get into our one words right away so we get into the thick of this match. Actually, you know what? Because it's a little early and I got to think a little bit. My brain's just allowing me to work. I'm gonna lob it over to you because maybe you might. I actually don't have a one-word match reaction in mind. There's a lot of little things, but
actually, ando medio rebelde hoy día. So I was gonna say, like, you know what? Let's try a little something different. Let's save it for a moment. Let's let it marinate. Let's let chat kind of drop in their one-word match reactions as well. Let us know what you're working with, chat. Let us know how you felt about this LA Galaxy win. Drop your one-word match reactions. And since I'm talking about chat, thank you, chat, for stopping by and for subscribing to this pod and for being just really the reason that we do all this, man. Go ahead and tell all your brethren and your sisterin about this podcast if they are Galaxy fans and if they are soccer fans. And hopefully, if you're watching on X and Instagram, you guys can jump over to YouTube at some point and hit that subscribe button as well. And for anybody that is interested, needs to get something off their chest and needs to say something, super chats are available. Help us get the 6 super chats. And you know what? This is all really that we have our to hang the hat on at the moment to represent those 6 MLS Cups. Ananda, we are pretty close to 700. Tu dirás? Diles, papa. 1/3 or something or other. And, you know, they got to subscribe and this and that. And then, you know, they'll help us get there, right?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right. You know your math this morning, Papa. Nice work.
Yeah, and well, you know, it's night times for me, and like GCam said, y soy rebelde for sure. Well, I actually haven't even checked our Blue Sky page out, but Ananda tells me that we have a Blue Sky page now as well. Is that what it's called? Like, is it like a handle? Like,
it's like lacunagalaxiana.bluesky.social, whatever it is. So just go to Blue Sky, check it out. We're just testing the waters out there. Honestly, like we said last time, David Gass inspired us by being on the show last time and talking to us about Blue Sky.
David Gass.
Go ahead and check him out. SoccerWise HQ and the Kickback Committee. They are sponsored by Blue Sky, so I was like, all right, we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. Let's see how it is. Let's see. Looks like the soccer community may be growing out there, Papa. So you know, maybe there's greener pastures on the other side.
Yeah, because you know that the other platform known as Twitter, it is a veritable hellscape. But you know, yeah, but there's a lot of soccer stuff that happens there. But you know, if the soccer community is migrating to Blue Sky, you know, it's a good time to say what up. But so yeah, go say what up to us on Blue Sky. Check us out as well on Goals TV. Ananda's been on a video here with Jose from Goals TV, aka Bromigo, and Ananda and I were both on an MLS transfer video in which he was a Brujo and I was a Brujo as well. So check those one out. And speaking of Bromigo, he'll be my guest host next Thursday. So go ahead and check that episode out. So that's another reason you need to subscribe so you know when we have guest hosts and stuff like that. Ananda, anything else to add before we kick off these announcements?
Do you want to get into these one words from chat real quick and dive into ours, or do you want to do it after the announcements?
Okay. Now I'm not rebelde. Now I'm like, okay, let's get it.
Okay. Well, first, really quick, just a little tidbits of housekeeping. Of course, you can follow me, block me, or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana. As Rob said, you can find us on all of our socials at Lacuna Galaxiana as well. And yeah, we'll have a little bit of a modified show schedule because I can't make every show. So we'll have some guests and stuff lined up for next week. So go ahead and stay tuned to that. Again, as Rob said, the best way you're going to stay tuned with this channel is to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and we'll let y'all know when we get these streams popping and when we have really good guests on and not me. So there you go. All right, so let's get into these one words. Let's see what we got going on in chat.
Well, I just want to say that, like, you know, next week when you're not here, I have Pelé and he'll be here, and also Johan Cruyff, he'll be here as well.
That's beautiful. And Papa, of course, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches. Goodly morning for me.
Dale.
Y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. No sad food hours today. This is going to be good food hours. So let's see. I'm looking at these one words. So let me just scroll here. All right. One words. One reaction. Surprised. Okay. I like that one because I was a little bit surprised. One word. Formula. Do tell, Raul G. Do tell. Let's see.
Like maybe the Galaxy found the formula or something like that. Who knows?
That's what I'm thinking. But go ahead and drop in the chat, Raul. Let us know what you
Raul, let us know, Papa.
One and only Rosia says believe. Hopefully that guy with the believe sign last year showed up, and he showed up with that sign. I remember that was up all in the Galaxy YouTube. Go ahead.
Do you see the homie El Tráfico Radio, aka Mickey Gris? His one word is just Marvin. I don't know. I don't know if that's but I just thought it was funny. I was like, I wonder if that is his one word. And then he's got to expand on that. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. Do we have any more?
I don't think so, but you know what? I think I have one. I'll throw this one
Get
out
it.
there. So I think my words is just needed. The
Mm.
Galaxy needed this type of performance. The Galaxy needed this type of result. This season, as we all know, has not been fun. It hasn't been fun for anyone. The team, the players, the coaching staff, Will Kuntz, the Galaxy faithful, etc. So I think this performance was just needed. We need something to be hopeful about for this team, and maybe this will serve as a platform for that. I'm hoping it's more of a platform for change and a trajectory of this team versus just a band-aid. We won't know the answer to that until maybe into the depths of next year, right? But let's celebrate the moments that we can. Let's celebrate what we can, and let's chase for another trophy. So yeah, I think we needed this victory, man.
It was definitely needed, but you know what? Marvin G photography, one word, cojones. Beautiful. They showed a
Very
lot of heart.
apropos to where I am.
They showed a lot of heart. Showed a lot of heart. They came out. They were about their business, and like the one and only says, it finally clicked. They did what they needed to do, and we'll talk about this later. But like, it's funny how like when you do what you need to do, things just kind of happen for you, a la the first goal, which comes off the own goal. But we'll get into more about that. Ooh, Papa, we will get into this. What does yesterday's win say about both leagues? Yeah, we'll get into this.
Yeah, I started that.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. We will definitely talk about this in a little bit. But let's get into some announcements, Ananda. Oh wait, did I give you my one word? I didn't give you like my official one word, right?
No, not yet. Just drop it, and then we'll explore it later.
You know what? I'm just gonna copy Marvin. Cojones. Let's go. You know what? Good composers borrow, great composers steal.
Yes.
Let's go to announcements. Shout out to ACB and Outlaws who held a watch party for the Galaxy's recent away match against Inter Miami, held at the Sunset Room, and they raised $674 for LA Taco, who is doing pivotal work reporting on ISIS's occupation of Los Angeles and informing LA's immigrant community of both their rights in these times and danger areas popping up around Los Angeles. You guys can clearly see the proof. The money is where the mouth is. They are making tangible change in this community, and they are about it. So shout out to both those groups who held this watch party. Speaking of supporter groups, they will be at the next Blue, White, and Gold pop-up, the 11th one, back at Absolution Brew on September 6th. Go check out your favorite G's vendors as well, your independent Galaxy creators. They are so many talented people out there that, I mean, honestly, like I get in trouble every time I go to this thing, man, because, and Ananda knows, like Ananda's seen the Minister of Finance get all upset at me, like just kind of like, come on, can I just get like one more thing? And then just like, and it usually ends up in a squabble. But I usually get one more thing, and that's really how you have to go to the Blue, White, and Gold pop up. Just like know that you're going to spend some coin, so start saving up those centavitos, because this one is kicking off on September 6th from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Of course, the Galaxy plays Houston that day as well. There'll be a viewing party at 5:30, and discounts off your entire tab at Absolution when you wear some Galaxy gear. So check that event out. We will see you there. And I usually show up unless he is not here, right? Oh, you're not back yet, huh?
Yeah, I'll be in my cousin at my wife's cousin's wedding. So there you go.
Ooh.
You enjoy those fun conversations with the Minister of Finance, Papa.
Yeah, it's gonna be those are always great conversations. Thank you, sir. We brought you guys this one already. The reggae vibes are going to be back before the Galaxy versus Colorado match this weekend. The wall of sound is going to be up. This is, as they describe it, a full stack 13,000 watts So get ready to feel that bass all around. 3 different selectors are going to be out there for you pre-game and out. So go ahead and check that out. We've also brought this one to you, but this one is vitally important. Lucano's Heart. There's a new event happening at Love Life in El Segundo on August 28th from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. If you are so inclined, go out and donate some blood. Get some more information at chladonateblood.org. Ananda, it's news time. You ready?
Hit it.
I feel like Pitbull right now. Dale. But it's the news, so you know how Pitbullish can it be?
Yeah, I don't have that in my soundboard yet. I need to be cool like Josh and have all these little gimmicks
Oh,
and gadgets
can we have a soundboard? Can we do that? Like just like it's like the sounds of a chicken all of a sudden. Anyway, nah, let's not. I would just go crazy with it. Let's not do that. Anyway, let's get into some news here. The Galaxy have rescheduled their match against FC Dallas. That was originally scheduled, has been now moved to Saturday, October 11th, 7:30 p.m. So this one was moved, of course, to accommodate that League's Cup run that the Galaxy are making. VCFC, they have their next game against Austin 2 away. That one kicks off at 5:30 on August 22nd. They are in the hunt to move up the Western Conference table there. Congratulations to LA Galaxy Youth Academy member Isaac Gomez. The youngster got called up for the Salvadorian U17 national team. Congrats to the midfielder for his selection to the selection. So, and now we get into some, it is not sadful hours, but it's kind of like mini sadful hours because it always sucks to lose players. It sucks more when you lose players that come through the academy and understand the team and the shirt. And then it also kind of sucks to lose players that I know that some of this fan base is wondering like why this guy isn't playing and why he got traded. Of course, we'll get into all that, but the first one to drop here, Ananda, is Johnny Perez to Nashville becomes a permanent thing. Johnny has been with Nashville for the last year and a half, Ananda. Per Tom Bogert, Nashville has now signed Perez to a permanent deal from the Galaxy. The Galaxy get $1.5 million in the team's second ever cash trade. So if Perez performs, he stands to go ahead and get $300,000 added on to that deal. He signs a new deal with Nashville under the U22 initiative, and he's appeared for them 29 times after joining them on loan. The Pride of Pico Rivera, Ananda, great guy. We met him a couple times, and I was very, very humble guy. Kind of sucks that he, the atmosphere, the environment wasn't made for him to get a chance, but it's great that he's getting a chance somewhere else. And speaking of people that aren't getting a chance, the other one here, that dropped today, Ananda, is the Galaxy's second string goalkeeper, championship MLS Cup winning goalkeeper John McCarthy has departed the Galaxy to the New York Red Bulls. They agreed a deal to acquire John McCarthy from the Galaxy today. And McCarthy, who is 33, and again, not only just a MLS Cup winner with the Galaxy, but as well with LAFC. So he's a two-time MLS Cup winner. Will now be between the sticks there in New York. They, of course, had a desperate need after injuries there. However, the Galaxy will continue to pay the majority of McCarthy's salary per reports. And so you got to ask yourself, why does Will make this move, Ananda? I mean, if obviously the Galaxy had too many goalkeepers on their books, so you do what you exactly this, you deal McCarthy away, but you're still paying him. So what? I mean, how does that help you? I mean, I struggle to figure it out.
Maybe we should give Will a call and have him on the show, right? I'm not the GM, so I have no idea either. But look, the one thing I was
But you're the smart one. I just thought you would have thought of like, okay, well, it's because
oh
of
I
this, dude.
oh my brain's still like I said, it's still revving up to from second to third gear here. So but no, the one thing that I think about though is Will's comments, whether it was on our show or other platforms. You know, he says that the Galaxy he wants the Galaxy to be an organization to do right by these players. I'm sure he has a great relationship with John McCarthy from his history with in LAFC, etc. So I'm sure a lot of this has to do with making sure that we took care of the player, because you know the Galaxy as an organization, they want their reputation in the transfer market in terms of with agents, with players. They want that good relationship, right? They want to make sure that they're known for an organization that does right by their players. And we saw that maybe to our detriment over the summer, but we saw that, right? And hopefully that impact has more of a long-term effect. Unfortunately, with a little bit of short-term pain, but that's the only thing I can think of, man. Because you know, JMac is he's a guy that's always proud, right? Like we know the type of character that he is. He has a very strong character, and I'm sure this is one of those moves that the organization wanted to do right by him, especially a guy that won us a championship last year. So, but the financial stuff, maybe someone smarter than me can figure that one out.
Well, J Mac goes back to not his hometown, but because I guess he's a Philly boy, but he goes
There
to
you go. That's
New
part
York,
of it.
which
Yep.
is close. He gets playing time. I would say that's wonderful if the Galaxy had gotten something back, but again, we got to analyze this one a little bit further to kind of figure out what the Galaxy stands to gain from McCarthy going to New York Red Bull. You know what, like does it open up a certain spot or something like that? But obviously the Johnny Pettis deal is wonderful. 1.5 million cash for a player that the Galaxy weren't playing anyway.
And I'm assuming convert that some of that to GAM or all of it. Again, that I need to research that again, but I'm sure you can convert some of it to GAM if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, just the ability. I mean, just the ability to recoup some funds from this. I mean, he wasn't playing here in Los Angeles, so this is good for him, and you know, again, good for the Galaxy because 1.5 is not insignificant. I mean, this is a. I mean, what the Galaxy get for Efra? Like 1.2?
Was it one? Was it one?
Like
yeah, something
yeah.
around one. Yeah, around one. And this is the thing too, guys. Like everyone that's like, you know, hurt by this, especially Johnny because he was one of our own, right? This is the type of club that people have been clamoring about really over the last 10 years, which is we need to be a good selling club as well. Like we need to develop and nurture young talent. Yes, some of those will break through to the first team, but the reality is most of them won't. But we need to profit off of that, right? As an organization. And so I think, look, I see that as a positive, especially a guy that's not going to get any playing time. So I'm good with it, man. I think for me that's a sign of a healthy organization, in my opinion.
Well, 2 G's are gone today. All of a sudden, pow, bye. Which one are you more sad to see going, Honda?
Like I said, probably the homegrown talent, probably Johnny, because he never really got a chance, right? But honestly, I'm going to try to take emotions out of this. I think both moves were needed. We even thought about like what are the moves that the Galaxy can make over the summer, and these two were clearly the ones that were on the fringes, right? I mean, McCarthy hasn't gotten a start. I don't even know how many games he hasn't started yet. But again, I think the more I think about that too, the more just like it perplexes me again why we insisted with McCarthy at the beginning of the year, right? Where we had to play that goalkeeper merry-go-round for a little bit, which I think hurt us. Now that Novak's in there, hopefully that will smooth itself out. That consistency will help. But yeah, Look, if I had to answer the question, it'd be Johnny, but I'm not really emotional about it. It's like these are the bare necessities that an organization has to go
Absolutely.
through. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sad about it either. Just like you said, business is business, man. It is what it is. I mean, these players weren't playing. Johnny was already 1 foot out the door. So, I mean, who am I more sad to see go? I guess J Mac, just because I knew him more and I got to see him with his family and his kids and stuff like that. And so but who knows? I mean, they may be happy to be going closer to home or where J Mac's originally from. So good luck to them. Good luck to Johnny, who's now officially in Nashville. Good luck to the McCarthys. And once the geology, J Mac won a title here. So part of the history of this team, John McCarthy. So again, once the geology, this is feeling like a good time, Ananda, to remind people that the Humble Little Podcast is on the march to 700 subscribers. And if you guys could be oh so sweet and let your loved ones know about this Humble Little Pod, we would love you forever.
Yep.
Go ahead, tell them
And hit-
to like, comment on this video, and subscribe and all that good stuff. Was
Yep.
that what you were going to say, Ananda?
I was gonna say hit the likes, guys. We only got 7 likes. We got to get that number up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Vamos. Ananda will take a shot with you when he gets back if you like this video. Yeah, I know he definitely will. I'm Ananda's drinking manager, so I cleared it. But anyway, Ananda, after you contemplate how many shots you're gonna take, we also got to talk about this tournament that the Galaxy just pulled off a big result in. But they weren't the only ones to get a big result. All 4 MLS teams actually beat Mexican opposition to go through. And now you have an all MLS Leagues Cup semifinal. You have on one side the Florida Clásico. I don't know what they call their Clásico over there. Do you happen to know
Yeah, something like that. Florida. I don't know. Yes, Florida Classico. I'm not sure what it is. Disney Classico. Who knows?
It's the herons and lions. So the Animalito Clásico. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway,
El
you
Rey
have the
León Clásico.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, cool. El Rey León Clásico, vamos. And then on the other side, you have the Galaxy versus Seattle. Ominous. We'll get into that. But you have 4 teams left, and all of them are teams from MLS. And Marvin, remember we told you we would get back to this. Yeah, here it is. What does yesterday's win say about both leagues when the MLS last place beat the Liga MX first place? First, I think we really got to keep it into context. And obviously everybody knows that the Galaxy hasn't had a great year, but we've seen them play with some of the better teams in MLS and keep up. So I don't know if it says as much as we want to think and lead into it, but I also, I think it's a valid question because it does call into question other things like, what it says about the growth of MLS, juxtaposed against Liga MX and individually by itself. What does it say about the tournament as well, Ananda, in which the conditions are such that MLS teams kind of have more comfort not kind of, they do have more comfort in this. They do have more comfort in this tournament, and it's that's not good for parity, obviously. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's good that these MLS teams are beating Mexican opposition, but again, I mean, we got to look at the if these are going to be called cons. I mean, the Mexican teams are playing away from home. They're playing very early into their schedule. I don't know. What do you think it says about the growth of MLS, if anything?
Nothing. Honestly, I can't take anything away from this. It's kind of like saying how in the FIFA Club World Cup, the Brazilian teams were just like, you know, getting results against all these European teams, but in the end, you had 3 out of the 4 European teams in the semifinals. So, like, while everyone was jumping to the conclusion that these Brazilian teams were like, Brazilian league's one of the strongest leagues in the world, kind of thing. It's like you can't take such a small sample size and make a conclusion out of it. You really can't. And in this case, all the disadvantages that you said with Liga MX teams, I think you can make probably that distinction when you have a real tournament that is played across both countries and where both sets of conditions for all teams are the same.
Truth.
And so and that's it. And it's like you can't take one tournament out of context. It's nice that we have 4 MLS teams, but again, the conditions highly favor these teams. So I'm not surprised. And then of course, like, to Marvin's question, yeah, the Galaxy are a last place team. I think on paper, though, we're not a last place team. We've been talking about it all year. They've just severely underperformed. And then on the Pachuca side, small sample size. They've only had 6 games. So yes, they're first place right now, but are they going to be really a first place team throughout the Clausura and Apertura? We don't know, right? So again, you got to take things into context, and I think you can't draw any conclusions. I think it's dangerous to make hot takes and conclusions out of the set of data that's in our face. So,
well, the Galaxy earned themselves a date with Seattle, but how did they do it? Let's get into it. The Galaxy took out Pachuca at the Digs last night in what was a very late game, Ananda. We got done with Greg past midnight, and we were like, oh, it's the next day. It literally is the next day. We were joking about taking
crazy.
PJs, and we really should have taken PJs. Shout out to the Galaxy staff, comms, the media team. I mean, just like the support staff there at the Digs as well for staying late. They worked a double header. Ananda, I don't know if this is something that we'll touch on again, but maybe it was just the fact that people had been there a while watching soccer and drinking and stuff like that, but there was multiple fights at this match. The Galaxy game, there was multiple fights, and I counted 4, and they weren't small. I mean, they were like, you could see them very clearly from the press box. So this one had some passion behind it, and I think it was also because people were not at home resting. So if they were not at home resting, they were going to get into some trouble, and trouble could have followed the Galaxy. However, like I said, they rose to the occasion. They took care of business. But let's start where we always start. Ananda, tell us about this Galaxy starting lineup.
I think we were brujos. I think we pretty much called this lineup, right, Rob? This is our strongest 11, again, barring Maya, who is still out with an injury. Definitely, I haven't read anything about the injury report. I don't know if you guys asked Greg, so let us know later what that prognosis looked like.
You want that cheese, man?
Dale.
Oh man, so I'm gonna win the press conference as you post game as I usually do, and I get in this elevator, and I get in it, and I'm all by myself, but it goes down one level, and then it opens up, and it's a bunch of player families, and Maya, the gentleman that he is, says hello to me, and we shake hands and stuff like that, and Uri Rosé, former Galaxy midfielder, was there as well, and we said hello, and shout out to Uri Rosé as well. Come on the pod whenever you like. And sure. Just kind of looked at Maya at one point because we were standing right next to it, and I was like, so you're gonna be back for the semifinal?
All cash.
Yeah, no, definitely just like that, just all casual, like, so you're gonna be back for the semifinal because there was a bunch of people around there,
Yeah,
and
mix zone before the mix zone,
and so I thought I was like, you know what, who knows, he'll probably just like joke back, right? But he's like, yes, I think so, and I was like, really? And he's like, yes. And I was like,
All right.
right. I was like, right on. The Galaxy need their captain back, and then
You heard it here first, chat. If Maya does not start on Wednesday,
well, I don't know if he's starting. I don't know if
who-
he's starting. He just said that he was going to be there, but later we found out he was a joker because Scott French, our colleague, was asking him a couple questions, and so he phrased it like where do you stand, or something like that, and Maya was like, right here, right where I'm standing. And we were just like, we just started dying because like the look on Scott's face, he was just like, dude, I am asking you a question and I'm on deadline, so he's just like, no, I need to know. And so we just started laughing, but he just started clowning around with them. But I don't know, if he was clowning around with me, but he tells me he's, in front of an elevator of people that he will be back. So hopefully for the Galaxy's sake, they get their captain back for this semifinal round. But yeah, you're right. He is the only Galaxy player out of this possible strongest starting 11, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we'll get into all the performances later, but like I said, for me, lineup wise, strongest lineup. I was happy with it, and yeah, and I guess let's just get in the summary then, because like I said, nothing to talk about unless you had a headline from this lineup other than it was our strongest.
No, not at all, really. I mean, and really, you got to see that in how the Galaxy came out. They started this match very brightly. I usually live tweet during the Galaxy matches, and I said exactly that. They were putting together a lot of good movements. They were moving well for each other. They were combative, energetic, lively. Everyone was kind of moving for each other, showing a hustle. Like Marvin said earlier, cojones, like what is the classic Latino phrase, échale ganas? Well,
Yep.
the Galaxy were definitely poniéndole ganas for sure, and they started on the front foot. I mean, the Pachuca was in the opening moments trying to like claw themselves in to this match, but the Galaxy kept on kind of trying to beat that back, and they were on the front foot. So Pachuca was having a little bit of trouble settling down, even though there was, some shouts of Tuzos there in the crowd. The Galaxy was kind of successful in settling that down as well. They had Pachuca kind of under pressure for a good amount of the opening exchanges, Ananda, and that's kind of where the first goal comes from. The Galaxy put together a pretty good passing move that leads to a corner kick. The ensuing corner kick, Marco Reus takes full advantage of the Pachuca defense being at what's that phrase, at sixes and sevens.
Yep.
And Marco Reus puts in a speculative cross shot. Who knows? And Pachuca's Alonso Aceves puts it into his own net for the Galaxy to take the lead 1-0 in the 27th minute. And if you watched this match, Marco Reus, this man took a beating. I mean,
A lot of Galaxy players did, to be fair.
Well, yes, but it was especially evident against Marco Reus. I mean, they would come up behind him, dude. Like, I don't know if this translated to the telecast, but they would come up behind him and just randomly push him. And you know how I always sit all the way to the left with my colleague Anthony Bautista from the Sporting Tribune. We all sit pretty much against the wall. We always hear Will, and I mean, he was livid because they were just pretty much attacking Marco Reus, and Anthony Bautista goes, man, that's not cool, man. I mean, that he's he's an older player. You can't treat him like that. And I was like, yeah, no, you can't. I mean, like I said, they were just randomly pushing him. But if Pachuca was letting Marco Royce have it, then Royce would give it right back. The German star pops up 10 minutes later to put Galaxy fans in dreamland. He finishes off a good counter-attacking move that starts with the Galaxy winning the ball well and ends with Paintsville Nascimento sweeping the ball towards Royce for a one-time finish and the 2-0 lead. And that's pretty much where it ended up until Pachuca gets el gol del honor deep in injury time. I think they're calling it 90+6. And I think this game was 97 minutes or something like that. So Pachuca gets one back late. Way too late to have an effect on the match, and the Galaxy now goes through to the next round. A couple things to pick out here from this match, Ananda. The Galaxy now has played Pachuca 3 times. They have a 2-0-1 record. Unbeaten in 3 all-time matches played against Pachuca at the Digs. They hold a 3-2-2 record in 7 matches played across all competitions dating back to July 31st. In 4 matches played in the Leagues Cup in 2025, the Galaxy hold an unbeaten 3-0-1 record. They've recorded the most goals scored and hold the second best goal differential at +8. Marco Royce, of course, scored the game-winning goal in this win. 7th goal across all competitions for the Galaxy during the season. Marco Royce continues to be lights out for the Galaxy and be that driving force.
Be the Galaxy's best player.
Yeah, I mean, one only has to wonder if he had been healthy at the beginning of the season and hadn't missed time, what the Galaxy had been able to put together. But like everything in 2025, we'll never know. But Ananda, I've been liking your one key stat, man. Tell us what you saw in the stat line that led to this Galaxy win.
Yeah, let me run down through the final box score. I just pulled it up on the screen there, and then I'll tell you with what those key stats were to me that jumped out, and then we'll get in. That'll lead right beautifully into our talking point. So 52% possession, 51% possession for Pachuca to Galaxy's 48, 49, pretty close there. Rob, 17 shots for Pachuca to the Galaxy's 5, but this is one of my key stats. And, those 17 shots, Pachuca had 6 on goal and the Galaxy had 2, but here's the most important part, Papa. We always talk about execution in the final third, right? Finishing off our chances, 2 shots on goal, 2 goals for the Galaxy. That's the name of the game, Papa. Hitting the back of the net. And we did that on only 2 shots of the goal. So even though we have less shots on goal, as long as we execute, we're good to go, right? And those chances were clean chances, clean through. So there you go. 2 block shots for Pachuca, 1 for the Galaxy. 444 total passes to 403 for the Galaxy. So again, these are pretty even stats. 84% passing clip versus 79.4. Let's see some other things here. Expected goals, 1.5 for Pachuca, 1.1 for the Galaxy. Even though the expected goals are higher, it just didn't seem like they were getting quality chances. I'm assuming those
not
17,
at all.
Those there was no like. I got to look at the big chances stat again. I think Pachuca had 3 big chances versus the Galaxy's 1 or 2. But again, Rob, the name of the game is putting the ball in the back of the net, right? So as long as we execute, as I mentioned earlier, we were good. Here's the other one that I pulled out that I thought was interesting, Rob, and this will lead into our first talking point. The Galaxy had 10 clearances versus Pachuca's 3rd. So again, when we were under the cosh, when Pachuca were in our defensive zone, the Galaxy were resolute, right? They were together. They cleared danger. Pachuca tried to send in a few deliveries as well from either flank, and we were there good enough to just stop the danger, right? Emi Garces had a huge part to do with that. I thought he had an excellent defensive game. But Zonka, Zonka as well, though. Like everyone's been like, clowning on him, right? And I see the stuff said about it on Twitter, on X, but not in this game. I think he was part of that big clearances. I got to check how many clearances he had in this game, but he was clearing danger. Any whipped balls or deliveries that would come into that box, I always felt like Zonka was on the end of it, and then Emmy with his speed was the guy that would always like duel or do that shoulder barge to get the forward off of us in the defensive third. So yeah, man, and I think this goes to our first talking point, which is, Rob, for this LA Galaxy team, the best defense is team defense. Don't you agree?
Yeah, no, definitely. And one element to this that Greg brought up post match was that he was, and I picked up on this in the press conference post Inter Miami, that he was pretty upset. Like sometimes, or usually, even when the Galaxy lose, I mean, Greg is pretty even keeled, but you could tell that he was pretty irritated post Inter Miami, and then later we found out why. It's because he was upset that the Galaxy didn't body anybody on Inter Miami. He says that the Galaxy only had 3 fouls against Inter Miami, and just kind of let them do their thing and let them. Basically translates to the Galaxy respected Inter Miami too much. So the Galaxy came out, and the fouls committed in this one 17-9. So the Galaxy took that to heart, and again, cojones. They bodied. They I think I mentioned this on one of the previous spots, that they have to do the Kobe Bryant and run through Pal's chest, right? Well, figuratively, and they did that. They stood up for themselves, and that's part of what leads to a good performance. Standing up for your teammates, standing up for yourself, and that translates to performances. In this one, the Galaxy all performed well, and that led to a team that was all defending. There were moments when I saw Gabriel Pecchi travel back, basically all the way back to the touchline to help out. I mean, there weren't those emergency moments. I never felt like there was a fire. I felt like they had pretty much everything covered. And you're right on it. Defending as a team is the best defense.
Yeah, for this team, because we don't necessarily have really other than Emmy maybe, like really strong 1v1 defenders. And this is how Galaxy won MLS Cup last year, was everyone, including the midfielders, Mark Delgado, Gaston Brugman in the final. I mean, Gaston Brugman was a dog. He was a beast in the final, right? In this game, we had guys like Diego Fagundes, who his defensive attributes, that's not his strong suit. But again, to win these games in knockout competitions, you need all 11 guys completely bought in, both offensively and defensively, right? You've got to do the work on both ends of the pitch. And also, let's also credit the goalkeeper, Rob Mitrovic. 5 big saves. He made a couple of really nice stops to keep the Galaxy in it in this game, right? So I think it was a good team defensive performance from the front all the way to the goalkeeper.
Look, you mentioned Diego, and I want to call him out for some special praise. I mean, everybody knows we love Diego on this podcast already, but dude was a dog. I mean, he hustled his ass off. I mean, he was everywhere. Not only was he everywhere, I mean, he was telling his teammates where to go, talking, communicating between the lines, and making sure everybody knew what was coming, where they needed to go. Again, leading by example is the reason you seemingly have a player like Diego Fagundes on your team, in your locker room. Well, this is a fine example of that. Diego Fagundes, for sure. Credit to him. I mean, Diego played a wonderful game. Greg Vanney singled him out for praise post-match as well. And Josh and I, we love our mix zone. We had a good one talking about Diego, and he after when he came and talked to us, and he looked just spent. He's played a lot of minutes recently, and hopefully he can keep it running, that Diego engine running for a couple more matches until the Galaxy get that trophy in there.
Yeah,
but
knackered, right? I know Pottermus likes me using that word, so look knackered, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely knackered for sure. But you know what? It would all be worth it if the Galaxy do pick up that trophy. In the league, they've been on the wrong side of bounces. They've lost games in the most inexplicable ways. They have lost games by bad calls, by shooting themselves in the foot. But in the League's Cup, it's been oh so different. Um, Again, they make their own conditions and they're doing the right things, especially in this match. But the Galaxy get a little bit of luck. I mean, in MLS play, Royce's low cross probably would not result in that own goal. The Galaxy probably would not have that luck. But here it bounces off a defender and he turns it into his own net. Goal number 2 in Anna, there's also an element to luck as well. Nascimento or Nasty Mentos cut back. I'm trying out. I'm trying out Matty Nasty. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
like the alliteration. Alliteration's nice.
Yeah, Matty Nasty. I'm trying that one out. Anyway, Matty Nasty's pass, goes originally intended for Peck, and he misses him, but it winds up in Royce's path perfectly through. Who knows how? Luck, just the hugest luck, and he
Luck.
one times it in. Galaxy up 2-0. I actually didn't catch this. You actually brought this up to me that Cerrillo had a foul that maybe could have been booked for a second yellow. Which one was this?
It was the one that they were. I think Josh tweeted about this too. They were trying to bait Serie into a second yellow. Remember, Rob? He had gotten a yellow pretty early in the first half, which is probably why he was subbed out coming into the second half. And there was one where there was like a little elbow. I guess it wasn't even an elbow to the face. It was literally like an elbow to the chest. And the guy, I think it was Guzman. I forgot who it was. He was like holding his head like someone had like literally clocked him out. But they were trying to bait Serie into that second yellow. And you know what? We've seen referees give that. And to be honest, there was one, I forgot what his name, the defender, the center back. He was pretty lucky too, not to get a second yellow. And then the coach subbed him out right away. I can't remember his name, maybe the right back or the right center back. But Robbie, think about these things. And again, shout out to your wifey, because she always brings us up with her beautiful match analysis, and she talks about the la suerte de campeón, right? And she mentioned this to me even like in 23 and then heading into 24, and she's like, I told you, right? Because you even think about 2024, Rob, if we don't lose that game to Houston on the last day and get the second seed, I don't know if we go through all the way to MLS Cup into the final. It's like those little margins, those little lucky things, right? You think about remember the first goal in game 2 in Colorado where Zach Steffen makes a howler and we get that first goal. It's things like that. Like La Suerte de Campeón, I think for me is real. But
you make your own luck. Like I said, I mean, they did the right things in this one and it paid off for them. Like I said, it's funny how that happens.
That's true. But then you need the luck to come out of it on the other side. And in the league, I'm not sure if you can question the effort in certain games, but
no, the effort's there.
It just hasn't been there. It just hasn't been. But the luck's been on our side in Leagues Cup, and hopefully that rolls through all the way to the finals.
Yeah, the effort's been there mostly. The luck hasn't. You're very right. But the Galaxy do get through Pachuca. They didn't boss the game, but they had. I never really felt like Pachuca was a threat after the Galaxy get that second goal. They were on autopilot second half, but it was a good exercise in having them manage this game and seeing it out. Except very last minute they give up that goal, but they hold on, get that 2-1 win, and that sets up a matchup with their old foe, Seattle Sounders. That match will happen at the Digs on Wednesday, August 27th. So either way, no matter what happens against Seattle, the Galaxy have a chance to clinch a Champions Cup spot with a win in the third place game. However, it would be wonderful if the Galaxy did get this win. But according to Josh in Corner of the Galaxy, he says, quote, there's another scenario that has the Galaxy capturing a spot, even if they finish fourth, but it would require Miami, Orlando, or Seattle to capture another CCC spot in another way, Supporter Shield, MLS Cup, etc., which could open that to LA. Yeah. I mean, that would be a good way for the Galaxy to get a spot as well. But again, let's hope they actually get through Seattle. And then if for whatever reason they don't, they pick up that win in the third place game. Again, this match against Seattle is going to be a toughie. The Galaxy just suffered that 4-0 loss to Seattle 11 days ago at the Digs. Just 11 days ago. It's still raw. But take heart, Galaxy fans. The last time the Galaxy faced Seattle in a knockout game, the Galaxy won in the Western Conference Final 1-0. So the question is, will we see knockout cup, Leagues Cup Galaxy, or will we see 2025 MLS Play Galaxy? What do you think, Ananda? Do you think that Greg's comments of there were lessons learned from that 4-0 defeat? Do you think there was enough gleaned 11 days ago to really make a difference here, or do you think this is David versus Goliath?
I think Greg has to use that as motivation, and I would argue that Greg doesn't even need to use that as motivation. Like, if I were one of those leaders in the locker room, I would literally like pull up clips from that game and show it to the whole team, and basically my message would be like, we don't want this feeling of embarrassment ever again. Let's go out there and effing kill him, right? And that should be all the motivation that you need, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, they definitely need to go out there with the same heart and with the same fire that they did against Pachuca. They can't be going out like they did against Inter Miami, where Greg's talking about how they didn't body up against Inter Miami, only 3 fouls. They got to get out there and again run through that chest, man. Do the Kobe and run through that chest. So, but anyway, the Galaxy do have that match coming up next Wednesday, but before that, they do have one match in the way. So before we get too ahead of ourselves, we will get into that here in a second. But Ananda, for you, who was your defending the badge candidate in this one, or defending the badge winner?
Well, let's talk about some of the candidates, right, Rob? So we had a few there. We had, of course, Marco Royce. He had the game-winning goal. Did he get credited with the assist on the first one? I guess it doesn't count, right? Because it's an own goal. I don't know how assist works in MLS, but anyways, Emi Garces, we talked about him. 4 out of 4 duels won.
He played a really good game.
7 defensive contributions, Rob. 9 recoveries, 2 tackles, 1. By the way, earlier I mentioned Zonka. Game high, 8 clearances, Papa. 8 clearances. This is what I'm talking about, right? Leagues Cup Zonka is on another level.
Hey, when he plays like this, we call him Zanquita, okay?
We call him Zanka Chicken. like Zanka.
We got, no, that's Zanku, bro. No. When he plays like this, he's Zanquita. Like I'm definitely okay with him being Zanquita.
Dale. All right. So we had those two guys. Another guy from the back line. Again, we talked about him, Novak Mitrovic, 5 big saves. I think he had a couple of really good ones, Rob. Sometimes like those low shots near your body, those are hard to get down quickly on. I thought Novak did a good job. And we talked about Diego Fagundes, completed most passes in the match. 93% pass accuracy was always there. But man, for me, it's I don't know why they gave him this match rating. They gave Diego a match rating of 6.7. But bro, to me, he was clearly he was head and shoulders.
Haters.
He was head and shoulders my defending the badge. Because again, we talk about defending the badge not being necessarily being statistically having the best game, having the man of the match performance, but we talked about it, man. What he does. Well, let's put it in perspective, right? Let's put things in context. Diego, for most of his career, has been an attacker. He's always played in those front 3 positions, mostly as a left winger. Greg has sort of inverted him because of the lack of depth, because of the lack of progression in Lucas Sanabria, because of the lack of Ricky not being there in his injury. Greg's had to slot him into that midfield role all season. And if you think about it, man, he has performed more than admirably. I mean, that's not his natural position.
Definitely.
That's not his natural position, but you know what? He doesn't complain about it. He's happy that he's on the pitch. He's happy that he's able to contribute to his teammates and do what it does, do what it requires to win. And that's Diego, man. He tries to make winning plays. And it's interesting because Diego's skill set at this point in career, he's not a guy that's going to slice and dice you and out in the wings. He's a guy that's more measured. He knits the play really well, especially on those. You notice those sequences in the first half, Rob, when Pachuca was pressuring us really, really high up the pitch. Diego would be the one guy to drop back and just like do that little swerve pass or, you know, hit one of his wingers or one of his fullbacks outside. And he was the release valve. That's Ricky's role.
Yeah,
Normally.
that's usually Ricky.
But Greg's asked Diego to do some of that. And on top of that, when there were skirmishes, when there were cards that should have been given that weren't, who was the first guy, Rob, to step up to the Pachuca player and say, "Hey, back off my guy. Back the F up." Diego.
We've seen Diego do that all year, though. Diego's about that life, man. He's definitely about that life. He's going to go in there and get in that scrap for sure.
And Baba, I'm going to show you one more thing that for me was the nail in the coffin on this one. And again, this shows just the desire. And I think coming into the Seattle match, all 11 players need to show this type of commitment on the pitch. You think about that second goal. Who was the guy that started it? Well, let me show you. Dieguito. You see that on Marco Royce's second goal? You see that sequence? Number 7 is Mr. Diego Fagundes. And you know how he got the ball back? He won a tackle at the edge of the box. A guy that's not known for tackling. Lucas Sanabria is known for tackling, right? But it was Diego Fagundes that showed the commitment. And this is the thing that we got to unlock next year too, is like we need to win more duels, and because we are deadly in transition. We've known this. Like I feel like for me, the Galaxy are more of a threat in transition than we are in quote unquote possession Vanny ball, but that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother episode right there.
But it was, for me, it was Diego that led that sequence, and this graphic shows it. Pretty cool graphic by Leagues Cup there. So to me, it was easy, man. Diego all day.
Yeah, no. I mean, I called him out earlier. That's an easy one for me as well. I mean, he gets a lot of criticism because of his salary and the fact that he's an experienced player and this and that. Well, again, this is a prime example of Diego not only shutting the haters up, but leading by example and showing what he does. He just was pivotal in this match. Again, just did a lot of the dirty work, a lot of the running back, a lot of the tracking back, a lot of the organizing in this one was done by Diego. If he's not at the level he's at yesterday, I don't know if the Galaxy actually win this one. So shout out to him. For me, he's my defending the badge as well. We do have a super chat from Adam. Adam says, if Galaxy beat Seattle. Oh, by the way, and Adam, thank you so much for the super chat. We do appreciate it.
Gracias, Adam.
If Galaxy beats Seattle, do they have a higher chance at winning the Leagues Cup? And did you go over the 2 departures announced today? Adam, we did go over the 2 departures announced today. Unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to our good friends Johnny and John.
Johnny and John. Yeah, there you go.
Johnny and John. Yeah. But once a G, all's a G. Good luck to both of them. I mean, we just basically talked about how it's good for them because they're going to go ahead and get playing time. With the Johnny Pettis deal, the Galaxy won't get 1.5 million plus the opportunity for 300K and add-ons. We're puzzled about the John McCarthy deal though, because he does get his salary still paid for in large part by the Galaxy. Yep. So we're struggling to see a way the Galaxy win on this one. So we're still doing the research on this one. So get back to us. But
yeah, I don't know about a higher chance of winning Leagues Cup, but boy, I'm sure Don Garber's sitting there and praying, hoping for an Inter Miami LA Galaxy final, because that would be fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine it's Seattle and Orlando. No shade to them, but I mean, Don Garber's like, damn it, really? God, like
On form, on form. It probably should be. They're probably the two best teams in this.
Well, fortunately for the Galaxy, this is cup football, and all they got to do is win 2 more matches, and they're lifting the cup. So that's where the Galaxy are right now, guys. The two more wins, they lift a trophy. 1 more win, and they secure a Champions Cup spot. So good luck to them. That game is next Wednesday against Seattle. We'll go ahead and bring you a preview of that one as well. But it's time for another kind of preview. The Galaxy do have an MLS Cup match before this League's Cup semifinal next week. They face off against Colorado, who just a couple of weeks ago seemed to be imploding. Jordi Mihailovic had left amidst clamoring to get away. Rafael Navajo. Did I say that right, Ananda?
Matt Pollard would be so proud.
Yes. That's actually what I live for, to make Matt Pollard proud. But he was rumored to be going away as well, and now they've rattled off some good form. But before we look at Colorado, rather, let's look at where the Galaxy stand in the league table. After 26 matches, they hold a 3-16-7 record on 16 points, 0.62 points per game, negative 26 goal differential, 15th and last place still, but they are 16 points behind 9th place San Jose. Again, we've brought out how the Galaxy's worst season has been ending with 32 points. The Galaxy have 24 points available. They are on 16 points right now, so they need 16 of those 24 points, Ananda, to just go ahead and equal their worst record ever.
Beautiful.
16 to 24. I mean, it's doable for sure.
Yeah. Potterman says the wooden spoon good as ours. I mean, I'm not going to say anything to that.
I mean, I
decline to comment.
Hopefully they at least catch St. Louis, but we're anyway. Well, that's another pod for another time. We could just rant and rave on that one for a cool minute. But like I mentioned, Colorado's rattled off some good form after 26 matches. The Rapids are in 7th place with a 10-11-6 record, 36 goals for, 41 goals against, negative 5 goal differential, 36 points, 1.33 points per game. They're 4 points above San Jose, who sit in that 9th spot in the playoff race. They hold that last playoff spot. Like I mentioned, some good form post Jordi Mihailovic. 2 straight league wins. The last game was a 3-1 home win over Atlanta amidst rumors. Rafael Navajo was a beast and had himself a brace in this match. Powers the Rapids to a 3-1 home win. Before that, it was a 2-1 away win over the Loons in a tough place to play, Ananda, against a tough opponent who's well organized. That's what we're calling the Darren Yappy game, because he scores a brace. He maybe is starting to emerge as that legitimate option for Colorado. We'll talk about what he's done on the stat line in a little bit. Before that, though, went on to the play for Colorado in the league was kind of inconsistent. They would beat teams like Vancouver, but then lose teams to Sporting Kansas City. No shade to either of those teams. They have kind of leveled out post Mihailovic. Who knows if it was an addition by subtraction kind of thing here. But we'll talk about the blockbuster addition that they just made today. But this team has scored 10 goals in the last 5 matches, Ananda. However, the Galaxy and their hopefully still revving offense have a chance to get at this team, because they have not earned themselves a clean sheet in 7 matches. So the Galaxy can get at this team. This is the 99th meeting between both these teams on Saturday. The Galaxy lead the series 48-35-13 against the Rapids. The Galaxy hold a 40-33-13 record in league play. In the first meeting between the teams earlier this year, the Galaxy lost 2-0. And not if you remember, that was the weather delay game. The Galaxy waited around for about 2.5 hours, as we all did. Came out very flat, got swept away, just like the storm that swept Colorado that day. Lost pretty convincingly 2-0. In 4 meetings between the Galaxy and the Rapids across all competitions. However, last year, the Galaxy won all 4 games. In the last match that the teams played at the Digs, the Galaxy won 5-0 in the round 1 best of 3 series opener for the playoffs last year. Ananda, we already know about the long-term injury. I've already kind of shared the chisme with you about Maya Yoshida. I don't know if he was being serious or he was just kind of pulling my leg, or it was just maybe elevator banter. Who knows? But he might be back for this, for not for this Colorado match, but hopefully for that semifinal. But Colorado, they will have a couple of players missing: Connor Ronan, Josh Atencio, and Wayne Frederick. 2 defensive midfielders and a center midfielder, all players who are not so much depth, but aren't locked on starting 11 players, maybe with the exception of Connor Ronan, who has featured as a starter quite frequently. We've mentioned Jordi Mihailovic leaving Ananda today. Very unlike Colorado Rapids ownership here.
Dropping the bag. Well, Colorado ownership, maybe in some other countries, Rob, they might be dropping the bag, but for sure not for the Colorado Rapids team in general.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really complain. I mean, your Gunners just signed Eze again, right?
We hijacked Eze from the Spuds. Very important distinction.
Look at Ananda crowing about this over here.
Love it.
Well,
love it.
Good signing, and the fact that, like you said, you swooped on him from arrival is got to be that much more delicious, right? But the Rapids again, a couple weeks ago, it seemed like they were kind of imploding. They were kind of. I was even asking myself, I mean, have they decided that the season is a wash? Are they getting rid of Mihailovic and Navajo? They kept Navajo. And it looks like they found Mihailovic's replacement, Ananda. They just announced today, U.S. men's national team midfielder Paxton Aronson from Frankfurt on a 5-year DP deal. Aronson comes with the $7 million price tag, $1.5 million in performance incentives added on, according to Matt Pollard. Once again, aka the Straw, he is eligible and available for selection Saturday at the Galaxy. So we may see Paxton Aronson make his debut at the Digs on Saturday. But let's look at this lineup that we might see against the Rapids on Saturday, Ananda. I have the fair feeling that Greg will rotate pretty heavily because he's going to be looking towards this match
100%
on Wednesday against Seattle. I mean, again, Dega was gassed. A lot of these players were gassed. I mean, Pecky was slightly limping when he walked by us. You mentioned it. They were all getting clattered. Royce was one of them. Pecky was another one of them. Big Matt Nasty took a lot of punishment as well. But
yeah,
what are you thinking Greg might do in terms of lineup here for Colorado? There's going to be some rotation. How much? Who do you think could see time
for Colorado or for us?
In this Colorado match for the Galaxy?
Yeah. I think there's going to be massive rotation, like you said, and I think there should be massive rotation. All of our eggs are in the League's Cup's basket. So, Rob, I wouldn't be surprised if I see a completely changed midfield. Throw in Tucker Lepley at number 10. Throw in Lucas Sanabria and Isaiah Parente as your double pivot. I'm okay with that midfield. Go for it. Emi Garces looked like I felt like he was struggling with a knock that whole Pachuca game. So do you give Emi the rest and throw in ZZ Top and you know
Ooh,
and
don't
and
do
and
it to
and,
him.
an, and another defender? I mean, who knows, right? Like City only played 45, so maybe you throw him back at center back again. We are a little bit short of options, unfortunately. Or do you call up one of the VCFC guys? I'm not sure. But I would expect to see massive rotation. Novak will probably keep his place just for consistency. But yeah, I mean, Christian Ramirez at number 9, sure, go for it. Like at this point, like the league, it doesn't. There's no. I don't hold a lot of weight
I
to it. So
I want to see the Twin Towers, bro. I want to see Christian Ramirez and Miguel Berry.
yeah, we could play 4-4-2, maybe. Right. Throw in Yamane at right back, Mo Cuevas at right wing. Who knows? I'm good with that. Again, right now, like my head is all towards Leagues Cup. Like I mean, in all fairness, and it's probably like not a great thing to say on a podcast, but I could care less about this game, bro. Like this to me is like a roadblock to the semifinal, which is what I want. But having said that, and not being too facetious about it, I think the Galaxy do need to at least like gain some sort of momentum, like feel good about what they're going to be doing in the semifinals. Two completely different games, two completely different oppositions, but as a footballer, you need that consistency. But for some players, they need the rest more than consistency. And so, like I said, I would swap out the whole midfield, do a line change. I'm good with it.
What do you think? This game had J-Mac written all over it.
Yeah, JT. No, I think Novak keeps a spot. I think for goalkeepers, they need that consistency. Outfield players, that's a different conversation, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, let's look at Colorado here. I mean, they're I mean, they seem to be going pretty heavily into this lineup consistently. Danger men here are, I mean, one of the main guys you got to look at that could win you the match is Zach Steffen. I mean, if he has an incredible day, if he has a day where he's just standing on his head, he could win you the match. I mean, he could. I mean, Colorado plays with 5 in the back already, so more of a defensive team. But again, if Zach Steffen has his day, then it's going to be kind of hard for the Galaxy to break through. Zach Steffen is ranked number 1 in saves per match in the league at the moment. I've mentioned him a couple times already. Navajo has 11 goals and 3 assists. Darren Yappy, 7 goals and 2 assists. I mentioned that he has become a legitimate option for Colorado there on the wing. Cole Bassett, last year he was kind of emerging as one of the most interesting young midfielders in the league. Had some injury trouble, has 2 goals and 2 assists this year only, but he is a quality midfielder, one to watch. Sam Vines and Calvin Harris as well carry a threat. They need to be watched as well. What do you see in the stats here, Ananda?
Yeah, let's pull it back. I mean, I think for me, you talked about it a second ago. I look at that stat on the bottom right, saves per match. Zach Steffen's been huge this year, so he could single-handedly win this game for Colorado. That's something to watch out for sure. But you know, Colorado, let's look at a couple of the key stats that jumped out at me. Possession. Chris Armis's teams, they don't need to have possession to win this match. They're super comfortable hitting you on the break, hitting you on the counter. They're 28th in the league in average possession. So I guess the Galaxy will be dominant in possession. I think we should expect that. But the question is always what do we do with that possession? Do we finish the chances on the end of it? Against Pachuca, we did, right? 2 shots on goal, 2 goals. So hopefully we see that repeat itself. And like you mentioned, Rob, they don't have clean sheets in their last 7. And if you look at the XG conceded stats, they're just as bad as the Galaxy defensively in terms of giving up chances, giving up big chances. Again, 3rd in the league in XG conceded over the year. So They are a team to be got at, for sure. But as we always say, it just ends up. Do we see the Galaxy that turned up that didn't turn up 2-0 at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, or do we see Leagues Cup Galaxy? That's always the question with this team. It'll be interesting to see too with in terms of the lineup, how the Galaxy approach it. I have an idea, and this will kind of lead to for the Galaxy to win that whole thing. And guys, you can start dropping your score predictions in the chat as we will be wrapping up the show in a couple of minutes. So get the score predictions in there, and Rob will go first like he always does. But
falso.
But for me, Rob, for the Galaxy to win, a couple things. One is, I think Greg will. I'm gonna go under the presumption that Greg is gonna do a line change. He's probably gonna do 6 out of 11 changes, 7 out of 11 changes, and I'm okay with that because all the attention needs to be in the semifinal. So for these kids now, for some of these VCFC fringe players, some of the subs that haven't been getting a lot of playing time, I'm hoping that those subs take this opportunity as a chance to prove themselves, whether it's for the Galaxy or for other teams, whether it's for their next contract, right? So I think they just go all out, man, and they should play free.
Yeah, no, I agree. For them to win this match, they just whoever is out there need to realize that most likely this league is done. And for as much as the players want to say that they're still there, they're still fighting. I mean, the math is not mathing, and it's admirable that they're still fighting like that. But that again, the math isn't mathing. So you look ahead to this semifinal, and yeah, massive. If you have that massive land change, then everybody just needs to go out there and stick to their job, stick to doing what they need to do, right? So one of the wonderful things about Seattle's system is that it's mentioned as kind of plug and play. These players can kind of come in at any moment and play. The Galaxy need to have these players that come into this game do that as well. So that's for the Galaxy to win this match. And I know that you and Dr. Raquinho worked on some betting odds. Go ahead and shoot them at us.
Yes, sir. So here are the betting odds for this game. Galaxy at a 47% win probability. The Colorado is at a 27% win probability with the draw at 26%. So actually pretty decent odds for the away team, 27%. Projected goals, 1.5 for the Galaxy to 1. So if you look at the scoreline, at least Vegas is saying most likely probably like a 1-1 draw. Secondarily, maybe a 2-1 win for the Galaxy. Again, it's thereabouts. But that's what Vegas is saying. So those are the odds for this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with my heart in this one. I think that with the eye on the semifinal, the kids play, or a lot of kids play, death pieces play, and they come out and they perform well, and they give it a battle, and they actually get a result. They pull out the tie. I'm going 1-1.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. 1-1, 2-2, something like that. Again, I think all the eyes are going to be on the semifinals, so maybe a little subdued atmosphere. But I'm hoping that the kids inject that youthful exuberance, that, I guess, DGAF attitude, right? And I hope they just play. They just have fun. They play for their team. They play for the badge, and that's all we want to see as Galaxy fans. And maybe that like lack of pressure, because this is the other thing too. Is like my sense is the starters, quote unquote, that will play on Wednesday, I think they're going to play at 80%, 70% because they don't want to get injured, Rob. There's a huge semifinal coming up on Wednesday, so they're not going to necessarily like give it their all. It's not the right word, but like they're going to have that thing in the back of their mind. They're going to be a little bit cautious, so they're not going to go into 50-50s all gung ho, because again, there's a huge match coming up on Wednesday. So again, I'm okay with the line change because I think psychologically as well, I think it bodes better for the Galaxy in this particular match.
Well, did you? Sorry, I must have missed it. Did you tell us what
1-1, 2-2. I'm going with 1 point as well. Tie.
Mm,
Doesn't really matter, right? Results at this point. It's just let's
I
get
mean,
the performance out there.
it matters because you can't go out there and lay a stinger to Colorado either. You can't lose like 4-0, 5-0 and then expect to go into a semifinal psychologically intact. So you need to go out there and play a respectable game for sure. So it matters in that respect. But in the grand scheme of the Galaxy season, again, I mentioned it right at the top of the show, the high water mark is that semifinal. So that's what the Galaxy are going to be looking at. But again, they have this, what Ananda says, a roadblock between this and the semifinal is this Colorado match, but they got to play it, and they got to play it in a respectable manner. And hopefully the players that do get the chance to play this match play it well and respectably, and they give good accounts for themselves. We've talked about a couple times how some of these players are playing for their next contract or playing to see whether they're going to be having a place in the first team next year. So a lot of these players need this opportunity to kind of showcase themselves. G-Cam says it's Harbor Miller time. Yeah, I mean, he could be maybe one of those players of the future. I mean, Greg has shown that he's not afraid to play a young player. So, I mean, it could be, right?
I was trying to look at the bench. I mean, you've got guys like Harbor Miller, Elijah Winder, Tucker Lepley. Miguel Berry hasn't seen any time this year, so who knows? Do we go 4-4-2? Let's see. Again, I'm open to it. No expectations, really.
Miguel Berry time it is. Let's go. And I think that kind of brings us to the end. Ananda, anything else to add before we say our adieus to our wonderful guests?
Yeah, really quick. We had an earlier super chat from G-Cam, so we didn't forget you, Papa. For Ramen Rob.
I didn't even see this.
Always rad seeing you guys. Also, shout out to the raddest chat. You guys are the raddest chat. But for Ramen,
damn show.
For Ramen, Bubba, that's tough. I know. I was like, oh man, that is tough.
If I absolutely have to pick, I'm gonna go pho.
Ooh, I was actually going to the opposite way. I was gonna go ramen. There's something about that, like extra oily, gooey, like that punch of flavor that you get in like a miso or like a tonka. Yeah, it's that broth, bro. It's that broth. Hey, Rossi's got the right idea though. She says, "Why not both?"
Yeah, I'm down to do both. I mean, don't limit me, G-Cam. I want to do both. You know I can put them both down.
Why not both? A Leagues Cup trophy and a wooden spoon. Why not both? Let's get it.
Why not all three? A wooden spoon, a Leagues Cup trophy, and a Campeones Cup trophy.
Hey, there you go.
So can you imagine that? I mean, we've been joking about it a couple different times this year, but it seems like it's getting closer to being a reality. The Galaxy getting a couple trophies, but being in last place in the league. Getting ever closer. But before we get out of here, we want to say thank you once again for everybody in chat and doing what you do. Thank you so much. I mean, I don't know what I missed there when you guys were talking about pho or ramen. Yes, choose both. Eat both. They're both delicious. While you're at it, throw in some, butter chicken as well, some garlic naan. We were talking about Zanku earlier. Go ahead and get that fresh lulu. I mean, yeah, man.
Hey,
get it all.
Free adverts for Zanku, man. Hey, let's get that sponsorship up and going, Baba.
Hey, that would be
sponsorships, right?
What do we? Am I? Is that my?
I just appointed you.
Head of sponsorships, damn.
Head of food, head of grub.
That's a more accurate title. Head of grub for sure. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to us rant and rave once again, and just kind of go on food tangents as well. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much. On Monday, August 25th, we'll bring you a Colorado Rapids reaction pod and a Leagues Cup semifinal preview. A week from today, on Thursday, August 28th, we'll bring you an FC Dallas preview pod with our friend Jose from Goals TV.
Well, I guess I guess it won't be
Romigo.
FC Dallas anymore, right? Because the game's getting postponed. So we'll figure out what we're going to do. But, for sure, that's going to be a reaction to hopefully the G's making it to the final.
Well, hopefully it'll be a reaction to the wonderful time that we had at that semifinal as well.
And a new and hopefully a reaction to our new Zanku chicken partnership. So there you go.
Oh, that would be so wonderful. Zanku, if you're out there, you want to. Ven acá, papa. I just called Zanku the chicken, papa. So anyway, is it a chicken? Anyway, late night musings here with Lacuna Galacana. But yeah, let's get out of here before we say any more nonsense and foolishness. Thank you guys so much for listening. For my co-host Ana Kirana, I am Rob Halon. Thank you so much for listening. One thing left to say, and it is G's up. Thank you.